Watching the Highlight Zone with WANE 15 Sports Director Glenn Marini. Local sports coverage you can count on.
It's the Highlight Zone. Yeah, the Highlight Zone. It's the Highlight Zone. Yeah, the Highlight Zone. It's Friday night. We on the Highlight Zone.
Putting our name up there. Let them know that New Haven, we ready to win, we ready to play physical, we ready to show you we a team.
I would say this is our biggest test so far going into the season.
We got that chip on our shoulder. It makes it work even harder.
Pressure, they love pressure. We just got to defend and take that pressure off.
Don't get too high, don't get too low, and be in the moment and enjoy it.
You know, it's a Friday night in basketball land here in Indiana, so it'll be good.
It's the Highlight Zone. Yeah, the Highlight Zone. It's the Highlight Zone. Yeah, the Highlight Zone.
Well, with the weather we've had for the last week or so, it's certainly been Mother Nature's way of telling us that it is time to go indoors. Yeah, snow on the ground and freezing temps, so much nicer when you're at a basketball game as opposed to outdoors at a football game. And while it is cold outside, yeah, the hoop scene is heating up right here on the Highlight Zone with the first full Friday on the boys' side. And we start at Armstrong Arena, where Josh Ann joins us now with your Highlight Zone Game of the Week. Josh.
Well, Glenn, both Blackhawk Christian and New Haven with very high expectations this season. The Braves are ranked 7th in the 3A state poll. They're off to a 2-0 start this season. New Haven, meanwhile, also off to a 2-0 start, so they're trying to build off the momentum that we saw towards the end of last season. Blackhawk and New Haven, it is your Highlight Zone Game of the Week. Now, the Braves coming off wins over Mishawaka Marion and Northside. Bulldogs, meanwhile, have beaten Woodland and Northrop this season. But how about Blackhawk Christian, though? Jumping out of the gym in the early going. First quarter, it is Jaden O'Neal coast to coast with authority. A little bit later, it is Kyler Wood with the hoop and the harm right here as Blackhawk Christian takes a commanding 12-4 lead early in the first quarter. However, New Haven starting to settle into this one. Towards the end of the quarter, it's Lavelle Ledbetter dialing from distance, but Blackhawk still has a 16-13 lead heading into the second quarter. Brandon Appleton certainly not liking that start, and he would not like this either. It's Bryce Lacrosse with an and one himself as Lacrosse scored a dozen in this one. Check this out, on the other end, Ledbetter beating Dalen Jackson, and Jackson getting that dunk counter for New Haven as the Bulldogs still down 38-25 at halftime. Third quarter, though, Bulldogs able to battle back as Deuce Baskerville saying deuces off that steal. That makes it a three-point game, 44-41 late in the third quarter, but Blackhawk Christian able to take control the rest of the way. It's Peyton Reinhardt laying it in for 2 of his 11, and then Drake Sefton gliding to the rim with a game-high 16 as Blackhawk is able to outlast New Haven 57-46.
Before the game, coaches told us that they would go on their runs and they would get momentum, and that's what exactly they did. And we kept our composure and we got boards, and that's how we got the win tonight.
We don't fold under pressure, you know, whatever comes our way. I mean, we'll face it with adversity no matter what comes with us. I mean, we play really together, really good as a team, so that's what makes us this good.
They really rallied. It wasn't perfect. I told them that, but they really showed that maturity to come together. You know, they're a hungry group. They wanted this challenge tonight, and I was glad to see them respond the way they did.
Blackhawk Christian continues their season at Penn next Tuesday, as well as a trip to Warsaw on Saturday. Meanwhile, New Haven is up against Wayne next Wednesday. Glenn, take it away.
All right, I heard you say Warsaw. Let's talk about the Tigers. They're ranked 9th in the 4A state poll as Warsaw hosting a Homestead team ranked 20th overall. This is Sam Alara early in the first quarter, knocking down the 3 for the Tigers to get the Tigers then up and excited. But here comes Mac Welker, the junior, knifing his way in, lays it in with the right hand, and that is a bucket as Homestead starting to feel good, giving the ball to Welker, but Meidenberger with the steal, and this Berger says, supersize me. He jams one home, but it was Mac Welker's night. Check out Welker with the 3. He had 32 as Homestead wins 48-37. Welker 32 of those 48. Moving on to DeKalb, new coach Austin Irvin and the Barons hosting Shabazz Khalik and the Northside Legends. Pick things up in the first. It's Zach Penrod from the outside, and he nails the 3 as DeKalb up by a pair in the early going. Second quarter now. Brady Vince from Bo Meinhardt. The thing of beauty, a little teamwork right there, and DeKalb now up by 9. Shabazz Khalik does not like that. He does like this. Rayshawn Johnson with a jumper, and that cuts it to just a 7-point deficit for Northside, but Graydon Pepple peppering the net with that one as DeKalb tops Northside by a final of 50-47. A rare SAC game this early in the season. Southside at Kilmer Court to take on the Snyder Panthers. This is actually Snyder's season opener. First quarter, South from the outside. It is Cortez Wallace with the 3 as the Archers up by 3. Then Snyder's Trail Hook says, I can match you. The junior with a triple of his own. A little later, how about Jarius Timberlake Johnson with the sweet moves to get the layup right there. And Southside up 2 after 1. In the second quarter, though, defense leads to offense. It's Lane Patterson with the jam, but this one goes into overtime, and Southside nips Snyder 71-65. Carroll on the road Friday night as the Chargers at Penn to face the Kingsmen. They beat them in football a couple of weeks ago. Could they have a repeat? Well, Penn out hot in this one. That's Ben Murphy for 3, and the Kingsmen up 10-zip in the early going. Carroll coming the other way. Jack Van Order, just what the doctor ordered. He drills the 3, but Carroll couldn't overcome a slow start as the Chargers fall to Penn on the road 63-53. At Sherry Gilbert Courts, an East Allen County rivalry game here is Leo taking on Heritage. First quarter, Torian Brown, the bespectacled one. Love this guy's game. He had 12 on the game. That was the first basket of the night. Later, Sajay Richard nails the 3. He's come on early in this season for Leo. He led Leo with 15, and we're tied. Later in the first, Andrew Scroggum with 12 points on the game. Leo up by 5, but in the second, Lonte Castle with 2 of his 14, and Heritage tops Leo 59-42. Opening night for ACAC play, both South Adams and Bluffton with their conference opener in this one. First quarter action, it's Bluffton doing it from behind the arc. Maxwell White with a 3, and the Tigers up by 1. Here come the Starfires. Gavin Herring. And with Herring, there is nothing fishy about this. He gets it to drop for 2 when South Adams takes the lead back. They're up by 1. Derek McCain. How many times have we said his name during the football season? The star receiver dialing from distance. South Adams up by a pair, but you'll see Maddox White with a 3, and Bluffton goes on to win a good one, 59-54 at the Tigers' Den. At the hangar in Monroe, new coach Casey Adams making his Adams Central debut. The Jets hosting Southern Wells. First quarter action, Drew Johnson with a bucket off the nice drive right there as Adams Central up by 3. More from AC, some good passing coming up right here. Lawson Deef with a layup, and Adams Central jumps out to an 8-1 lead. Here comes Southern Wells. Joshua Albach was a force on the football field this season for the Raiders. He gets the bucket there for Southern Wells, but Cooper Steele is going to nail this jumper to beat the first quarter buzzer, and Adams Central hangs a win at the hangar, 62-44. Opening night of the NECC, a reigning conference champ Westview at home against Churubusco. First quarter action, Westview out strong. Austin Schlabach, one-handed dime to Daniel Yoder, and it's 7-zip Westview right out of the gate. They were not done. Schlabach, this time doing it all himself. Kind of an awkward landing, but hey, he would stay in the game. He's a basketball player. 11-0 Westview, and then watch this. Caden Grau slamming it home for Westview. They start the game on a 19-zip run, and Westview takes care of Busco 62-18. At Central Noble, the Cougars and coach Ben Lemon. Lemon looking to put the squeeze on Angola in the first quarter. It's Nick Freeman getting to the cup here for the Cougars. That's the first basket of the game as the Cougs take an early lead. Angola trying to counter. Tommy Caswell dropping it off to Niles Knox for 2. Knox had himself a night. He would score 21 as Angola led 10-6 after that bucket. Second quarter action now. It's Knox with the determination, grabbing his own miss, hits the deck, but hits the shot as well. Angola up by 8. We'll see Landon Leach connect with Tommy Caswell for 2, and Angola goes to Central Noble and wins 66-40. At Lakeland, the Lake Show coming off a 15-win season last year. Lakeland hosting Fremont. Pick it up in the second quarter. This is Keegan Merrifield driving and 1. And Lakeland, again, just the second quarter, already up 38-8. Fremont trying to counter. Jarrett Laughlin, heck of a quarterback this past season for the football team at Fremont, who had great success He gets the bucket there, but you're going to see Lakeland's Kian Arroyo. Speaking of football players playing on the hardwood, he drills the three as Lakeland runs away with this one. Your final 78-28 up in LaGrange. Moving on, just down the road in LaGrange, Prairie Heights hosting Fairfield. Pick this one up in the fourth quarter. It's Fairfield's Matthew Holsapple finding Parker Smith for the finish, and Fairfield up 21-47-26. Fairfield's Brad Garber now finding Smith again for the finish, and it's a 23-point lead for Fairfield. You're going to see Leonidas Hare. What a great name. Leonidas gets the bucket here, but Fairfield does get the win, 51-29, your final. In the Three Rivers Conference, the old rivalry here, Southwood and Wabash at Kuhlman Gymnasium. First quarter action, Trace Daughtry finding Eli Mattern, and that is good for three. Wabash up by 4 early. Then James Unger, fundamentally sound pump fake. That is well done from James Unger. He hits the jumper. It's a 12-9 Wabash lead. You're going to see Southwood's Bryce Wilcox is going to be a problem for opponents this coming season. He gets the bucket to make it a 2-point game, and Southwood goes on to win 57-49. At Northfield High School, the Norsemen hosting Taylor. Taylor coached by, yes, former Lures coach Fonzo White in his first season with Taylor. And Taylor looking good in the fourth quarter. That was Jacob Trueblood for 2. Here comes Cody Holmes for Northfield getting the bucket, but it's Xavier Pugh knocking down a 3 for Fonzo White as he comes back to the 2-6-0 and gets a win as Taylor wins 58-31 against Northfield. Final stop for boys hoops, defending 2A state champ Manchester at Wawasee. First quarter action, Wawasee's Stephen Akaze. Used to seeing him at Tippecanoe Valley. He gets the bucket right there, and Wawasee jumps out to an 11-zip lead. Manchester's Wyatt Schroll drills a 3 right there, but Wawasee led 20-3 after 1 in the second. It's Akaze stepping out as Wawasee wins 59-36 against the Squires. That is going to do it for the fellas tonight, but coming up next, we got the ladies. It is their turn as Norwell comes off a 3A state title last season. The Knights going to be up in 4A, sure, when the playoffs start this year, but tonight, Norwell with its conference opener as they tip off NE8 play against Huntington North. We'll head to the castle for that. Plus, SAC action in full swing, and that includes 4A state title contender Homestead taking on their longtime rival Carroll. Plus, Dwenger at Northrop, Southside at Snyder. We got those games and more next on The Zone. Hey, welcome back to the Highlight Zone. We are talking girls basketball, and when it comes to rivalries on The Zone, few can match the intensity between Homestead and Carroll. Yeah, no matter what season or really what sport, it's always throw out the records time when these two schools square off, especially when it's SAC conference play. However, the records in this one pretty definitive. Homestead 6-1, ranked second in the 4A state poll. Carroll coming in 2-5. Spartans' Carly Mollering drills the 3 right there. She had 16 points for the Spartans as they were in control. Good to see Ava Myers with 3 of her 11. She signed with Bethel to play for the Pilots earlier this week, so a bright future for her. Here come the Spartans, Susie Perigo. Now a sophomore. She gets the layup down low. Homestead in control. You're going to see Lily George, who signed with Huntington University earlier this week, get the bucket. She had 10. It would not be enough, though. Homestead would cruise 77-29. At Northrop, Bruins led by IU's Indy Siney Swin Jackson as they were hosting Bishop Dwenger. It was Dwenger looking good early. This is Annie O'Brien cleaning glass with the putback. Then you're going to see Charlotte Swigert with the jumper right here. And after 1 quarter of play, the Saints led by 1. Kyle Bond in his first year doing a nice job early on in this game. Later, it's, Kayla Williams-Thomas to Riley Day. She'll play college softball at Indiana State. She's an athlete. And then it's Marion Wiss with the and 1. Saints hung around early, but Northrop wins this one 51-27. Snyder already playing its 10th game of the season. Janaea Cooper still out with an injury. The super sophomore hopes to be back soon. And Southside trying to take advantage of the missing star. That's Briley Dedrick Williams with the J as it rattles home in the second. Then it's Britannia Dedrick Williams with a 3. But Snyder up by 2, 18-16 in a low-scoring first half. Third quarter now, Mackenzie Carter could be a breakout star for Snyder this season. She gets the layup. Then you're going to see Izzy Ake with the bucket here as Snyder turns it on in the second half to win 63-26. From the SAC to the NE8, Norwell ranked second in the state overall by the IBCA. The Knights hosting Huntington North, and that's Ashley Waldman with the bucket to make it 46-15 Norwell in the third. More from Norwell, Addison Norris, one of the most improved players in our area. She is off to a killer start this season, nails the 3. And then Macy Solfrank lays it home. Coming up, you'll see Addie Richardson from Huntington North get the steal and the bucket, but it wouldn't be enough. Norwell wins at the Castle 63-27. At the TP, Belmont ranked 4th this week in the 3A state poll. The 6-1 Braves hosting DeKalb. Second quarter, Annalie Kruckenberg with a 3, and Belmont up 15-10. Here comes DeKalb. Molly Sonnenberg would nail the 3, but Belmont, determined not to lose at home for sure. Marianne Blakey would come up with the bucket here. Blakey had a dozen as Belmont in control. You're going to see Ashley Blakey. She would lead Belmont with 19 points. Going to hit the 3 right here as Belmont wins at home 61-25. Finally, Angola sophomore Kendall Vanderwall, the IBCA Player of the Week for the state in District 1. Now the Hornets on the road at Central Noble. Third quarter, she shows you why. The distance, knocking down a triple. She had 18 points. Hornets up by 4 in the third. Here comes Central Noble, though, making this a ball game. Austin McGoughlin with the jumper, and Central Noble within 2. It's 35-33. Here comes Vanderwall, though. Her dad, the new coach at Trine. So, a little bit of basketball in the jeans, a little pilfer and pair. It's a 3-point lead for Angola. You're going to see Cadence Bates knock down the 3, but Angola wins 58-52. Stay tuned. Your gem of the night. It's up next here on the Highlight Zone.
We're the Heritage Patriots. This is the Highlight Zone. Don't go anywhere.
We are Warsaw Tigers, and welcome back to the Highlight Zone.
Here at Peter Franklin Jewelers, we are proud to support local high school athletics. That's why we continue to sponsor the Highlight Zone on WANE TV.
Congratulations to this week's winner of the Gem of the Night, presented by Peter Franklin Jewelers.
Okay, so this is my 18th season covering high school basketball here in Northeast Indiana. We've covered a lot of Westview. They've had a lot of good teams. In 18 years, I do believe this is the first ever dunk we've had from the Westview Warriors. It is Caden Grau with the Westview Whammy, as their gem of the night comes from Caden Grau and the Westview Warriors, who get a win over Busco in NECC play for your first gem of the night this basketball season. Congratulations to Caden Grau and the Westview Warriors. Of course, that wraps up our coverage for tonight here on Friday night, but we got a lot of sports coming up for you on Saturday. We're talking the IU and Purdue games right here basketball-wise, starting at noon. They're back-to-back, so 4 straight hours of great basketball here on WANE TV. Don't forget, huge game for the Colts Sunday at 1 o'clock as they take on the Jags, a key AFC South matchup. That is 1 o'clock right here on WANE TV. As always, your home for Colts football. For Josh, I'm Glenn. That'll do it for the first basketball edition of the Highlight Zone. We'll see you back here next Friday.